Paul Brash, welcome to Business
Morning.
Insider, and good
Thank
morning
you.
to you. It's exciting to have you here. You are at the hub of one of the biggest projects on the coast, and we're interested to hear about how it's going and where it's going.
Sure, GBID's going great guns. You know, we're there to improve Gosford, and that's what we're trying to do every day. Whether it's attracting people back into Gosford, beautifying it, making headway on filling the vacant shops, making sure that the retailers are well and truly looked after. They have done it tough, you know, in the past. That's right, for the past few years. So
I'd say quite a while.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
So, and that's of course nationally, but we're doing what we can to help stimulate business into Gosford.
Are you, just on that really specifically, I saw the number of participants, and the list is quite long.
Sure.
Is that growing as quickly as you would like? Are landlords and retailers coming on board, or has that ceased?
It does go in waves, and I guess GBID started in 2008 with a lot of enthusiasm. It was seen as the vehicle that took over from the Gosford Challenge and then fed into GBID. Bids were fairly new on the coast, so people latched onto it, and as time goes on, people don't renew their membership and need that constant reminder. So we're targeting at least 100 members this year, which is certainly achievable. And but it's more so about communicating with those members and letting them know what we're doing on their behalf, what we're lobbying for in conjunction with the Gosford Chamber of Commerce. We have some great partners. We do get on really well with Gosford City Council, which is pleasing to note.
Seeing they are providing the money, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Indeed.
Yes. And there's roughly about 400 businesses that pay a special levy to Gosford Council, and then we invoice Gosford Council for those funds.
Let's talk about what success will look like for the next 12 months.
Sure.
You'd love to have 100 more members.
Yes.
If I look around Gosford, have you got some specific plans there?
We do, and there's about 6 key events that we will focus on, and that's more so attracting people into Gosford. We'll certainly continue with our monthly markets, which we just had the last one on Saturday, and it was the best one so far for the year. That attracted about 3,000 people into Gosford, so that's what we're hoping to do with our events. We've identified the 6 key events that we'll do, and they range from trick-or-treating for kids right through to a Scottish event. There's also the Christmas parade, which is really popular, through to the New Year's Eve fireworks. So we organise all of that in our GBID office, plus also beautification projects, and that's really what I want to get into this year, and just tart up Gosford and give it a vibrancy. And one area that we're really focusing on is street art, and looking to replace that really ugly "Welcome to Gosford" sign, and make that nice and vibrant, and also continue some street art through the main street. We're also looking at window dressing for the vacant shops, and there's about half a dozen key vacant shops in Gosford that we want to give a bit of a facelift.
Indeed. Let's talk about your partners. Gosford Chamber is one.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, indeed. Do you get involved with the discussions with the Development Corporation as well?
Very much so. In fact, they were a guest at our last member breakfast, because people want to know what's happening with the landing and what's happening with the Gosford Public School and you know, those hot issues. And so they told us as much as they can tell us at this stage.
Okay.
We certainly get a lot of support through the Gosford Chamber of Commerce, and as you probably know, GBID was supported prior to GBID. It was actually a CBD committee, which is born out of an alliance between the Gosford Chamber of Commerce and Council, and then GBID took over from that. So we do have a GBID committee, which is made up of Chamber of Commerce, retailers, property owners, etc. Up to 13 members on that. Plus we also have a promotions committee, which was actually born out of the Gosford Chamber of Commerce and passed over to GBID. Plus we also have a markets committee specifically to help organise the markets as well.
Okay. If the Gosford bid was the first, we've now got one at Edlong, and we've got an embryonic one at Terrigal, I think.
Yes.
You've learned a lot, no doubt. How can they be more effective, do you think, on their way?
I think getting community support is key. Is the key to their success. So one member can't do it, one committee can't do it. It's a whole of community approach. That's really tough.
How does that translate? I don't. Is it the Christmas event for Gosford, or is it the Edlong Beach festival?
No, it's gaining feedback. What are your top priorities? What are your top issues? You know, one thing that may be an issue in Edlong Beach may not be an issue in Terrigal. Terrigal, for example, doesn't put on a lot of festivals because they don't feel that they need to attract people into Terrigal, but when the people are there, their issues might be security or vandalism or business retention, you know, that because the rents are higher. So whatever their issues are.
It's a local issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever their local issues are, they need to get that feedback and develop a good plan and then stick to their core values, their mission, their vision, and always come back to that.
Have you got enough of that going on in Gosford at the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We've got enough planning.
Yeah.
We need to see action, and that's, you know, I am a paid person in GBID, so that makes a difference. You need to have a person always pushing the barrow, always applying for new grants or pumping out press releases or whatever it is that we need to do. Whereas it's pretty tough in a smaller bid where the committee is basically made up of local business people who really do what they do because of their passion and pride for their community, but over and above what their paid job is.
Absolutely. So this is pro bono.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there are businesses out there that want to see some action and who aren't involved,
yes,
what do they do?
I'd encourage them to become involved and to be active. There's one thing to say nothing's happening or whatever. I firmly believe if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And so they need to get on board, they need to volunteer. For example, we did a simple clean-up in Edlong, and that continued as a tradition every couple of months, and it really made an impact at no cost at all. So that was just people coming along, being involved.
Okay, that may lead on to getting involved. Moving people off their self-interest areas is tricky.
Oh, absolutely.
We call it a rant now. We'd like to give you
soapbox.
The soapbox time. 60 seconds, Paul.
Sure.
Tell me what gets up your nose.
Well, one of my frustrations is look, Gosford's has some old buildings that needs maintenance, and my suggestion would be to the property owners, while you're not developing them, just maintain your property, give it a fresh coat of paint, do the facade, just to make Gosford look like it's being loved a bit more, and that would be my one of my key objectives this year is to meet with the various property owners. I understand that they can't redevelop their properties, they can't pull them down and put up a high-rise building. However, let's maintain the property in the meantime.
You've got activity targeting young people, graffiti, and using it, and developing some alternatives.
Sure.
What's going on there? Well,
it was a simple concept that came to us as a suggestion that we contact the Breakthrough People Solutions, which are an employment agency, I guess, of people with barriers. And they came on board and basically found the funding for 2 guys to clean up the vacant shops. And it was a 15-week program, and as it worked out, the vacant shops only took 3 weeks to actually clean up. So then we broadened the scope and looked at what else they can do around Gosford, and they've made an amazing impact. They cleaned up graffiti by painting over it or cleaning it up. They cleaned up physical weeds and things like that on Baker Street. They came around the corner into Man Street, cleaned up a construction site really. Then they moved on to the Gosford Town Centre and really refurbished all the gardens in front of the Gosford Town Centre, and the council had just acquired that building. So they through our connections with council, they supplied all the equipment and we supplied the labour. And it's an amazing result. Plus, along the way, we also got some really valuable PR for Breakthrough, for ACS, our cleaning partners, and also GBID as well.
Fantastic. And you're doing some exciting stuff, but as I understand it, the BiD concept is international.
It is, yes.
You've got things happening at that level as well?
Sure. And really, BiDs are very strong in the UK and also the USA. So they have been around for quite some time, and also New Zealand. In fact, council went to a place in New Zealand in 2005 and brought back the BiD concept. Now in Australia, BiDs aren't really that well known, but they come under different names, town coordinators or similar terms. But there is a conference that goes on every year around Australia, and there are others that are internationally as well. Now it does attract international people who work for BiDs or town centre management or town coordinators throughout the world, and they fly in, and this one will actually be in Hobart in October. So a little bit of a long way to go, but it's about a 2.5-day conference, and you can choose which strand you would like to listen in to the lecturers for. There's workshops and all sorts of things. So what it does is and I've specifically chosen the placemaking strand, which gives you ideas on how to bring the community with you while you're finding its own identity, the kind of things that you can put in place, the good ideas. There's networking galore throughout the 2.5 days. So then you come away with some really valuable contacts and some really good ideas on how to improve Gosford, and that's what we're there for.
Indeed. Well, we might need to catch up after October and find out how you've been inspired
More than happy
how
to.
you're going to push ahead. All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thanks, Mark.
for your time.
Cheers.